Hi, and welcome to another story time brought to you by ABC Read and ABC Learn, in which we are here to help develop and nurture that love of reading in every child as well as every adult. How's everybody doing out there today? I hope everybody is doing well. And again, I hope you all are making sure that you are reading something beneficial at least 30 minutes a day. And another reading aloud tip that I would like to share with you all before I get started. It's real simple. Please be consistent with reading aloud. That's it. Be consistent. Because when you start reading those stories to your children, whether, again, like I said, they could be your young children or middle school, high school, adult children, be consistent. When they get started listening to those stories, they are going to want to hear more. Trust me. All right. Even if it's something as small as if you were all at the dinner table and you wanted to read a page out of a book or something like that. Do that as much as possible. Try to do that at least 30 minutes a day. Or if you can't, 30 minutes a day, even if it's 15 minutes a day, if you're just reading aloud. Now, reading, period, should be done at least 30 minutes a day. But if you're not able to read aloud for 30 minutes every day, at least, again, like I said, I can't stress enough, be consistent. I don't want to keep sounding redundant, but I'm just trying to drive it home here, all right? All right, and as I'm reminding you guys, again, I am reminding myself, okay? Well, today, what I've decided to do is I wanted to read an excerpt from a slave narrative. And this is the slave narrative right here. A lot of you might have this book right now at your homes. And this is called The Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl. And it's about an enslaved woman named Harriet Jacobs. And this particular book, again, if you don't have it in your library, you should. It is very inspirational. It makes you sad. It makes you angry. Very thought-provoking. But again, for me personally, I walked away being inspired because this woman here, Harriet Jacobs, she decided to record what happened to her during the African Holocaust or slavery that people of African descent had experienced, the horrible things that occurred, the trauma that occurred during slavery. And she wrote this down so that she could empower all of us and let us know how horrible it was, and so that, God willing, that it will not be repeated. And so again, I'm going to just read the preface today as to why she decided to record these horrible things that happened to her being an enslaved black woman in North Carolina. Reader, be assured this narrative is no fiction. I am aware that some of my adventures may seem incredible, but they are nevertheless strictly true. I have not exaggerated the wrongs inflicted by slavery. On the contrary, my descriptions fall far short of the facts. I have concealed the names of places and given persons fictitious names. I had no motive for secrecy on my own account, but I deemed it kind and considerate towards others to pursue this course. I wish I were more competent to the task I have undertaken. But I trust my readers will excuse deficiencies in consideration of circumstances. I was born and reared in slavery. And I remained in a slave state 27 years. Since I have been at the North, it has been necessary for me to work diligently for my own support and the education of my children. This has not left me much leisure to make up for the loss of early opportunities to improve myself. And it has compelled me to write these pages at irregular intervals whenever I could snatch an hour from household duties. When I first arrived in Philadelphia, Bishop Payne advised me to publish a sketch of my life. But I told him I was altogether incompetent to such an undertaking. Though I have improved my mind somewhat since that time, I still remain of the same opinion. But I trust my motives will excuse what might otherwise seem presumptuous. I have not written my experiences in order to attract attention to myself. On the contrary, it would have been more pleasant to me to have been silent about my own history. Neither do I care to excite sympathy for my own sufferings. But I do earnestly desire to arouse the women of the North to a realizing sense of the condition of 2 million of women at the South, still in bondage, suffering what I suffered, and most of them far worse. I want to add my testimony to that of abler pens to convince the people of the free states what slavery really is. Only by experience can anyone realize how deep and dark and foul is that pit of abominations. May the blessing of God rest on this imperfect effort in behalf of my persecuted people. And again, she wrote under the pen name Linda Brent. This is the book right here, Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl. And again, this is a slave narrative, which there have been quite a few slave narratives in which people who were enslaved have written about their horrible accounts, their traumatic accounts of being in bondage and dehumanized and persecuted. So I hope that you all were able to be informed, and I hope again that you all get this book once again, and you all keep reading at least 30 minutes a day. Happy reading.